ideas they say, thoughts find out, and every conversation explores the art of thinking beyond the obvious. And today I have my special guest. One of her advocacy become the person you admire by design, not default. No other than Miss Leah Coss.
Hi. Happy to be here.
Welcome once again, Miss Leah. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I am?
Absolutely. So thank you for having me. It's great to be back on one of your podcasts. Yeah, my name is Leah Coss, and I am an identity strategist. Which, what does that mean? Well, it's really about helping you shift your identity and who you are, who you see yourself to be, and how you show yourself and show up for the world around you so that you can not only attract and operate as someone who lives the life that you want, but that you can hold it sustainably long term without self sabotaging. So that's really what I do. And then my other hat, which is where my heart and soul is in the charity that I run called Build a Biz Kids. We help kids get future ready, putting them into real world experiences where they can be as young as 7 launching their first business or creating online courses, delivering speeches, and all that stuff that we know is good for them to learn at an early age. But we really do that so that they flex those human soft skills, helps prevent mental health challenges, gets them future ready for this fast paced world that they're in, but most importantly, helps them to develop a healthy sense of identity themselves at a young age.
And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Miss Leah. Thank you. And today, let's talk about something good. No one can love you until you do this. So tell us what is all about.
Yeah, it's so interesting when, if you find patterns in your life, maybe you're in relationships where you just don't feel like they're giving as much as you're giving, or perhaps you feel like you're constantly up against adversaries, people that are out to get you, or, life is just not smooth, interactions don't feel good. Uh, that can often be because of how you're treating yourself and how you see yourself. And so, in short, it's even if someone does really love you from the outside and you feel good because of their love, ultimately that relationship won't be healthy or sustainable if you can't love yourself. Because when you rely on external people or situations for you to feel good, you've essentially relinquished all control over your happiness and emotions, and you become quite volatile. And this world is very fickle. One day someone might like you and then they don't like you, and it may have nothing to do with you. And if you take that to heart, and that's going to be how you develop or feel your self-worth is, life's going to be a little bumpy, and ultimately you just won't be living the fulfilled life that you can if you start with loving you first.
Loving you first. And Miss Leah, tell us. No one can love you until you love yourself. It's a common piece of advice, but is it literally true? Can someone truly experience love from another if they don't love themselves?
I think it really depends on what love as a word means to you, right? It's a very heavily loaded word for many of us because maybe we feel like we haven't been loved. We didn't receive it from our parents or the people that were highly influential around us. Maybe we were bullied or been in abusive relationships. Perhaps we are surrounded by people that love and adore us, but is it us that they love or adore, or is it the money or the circumstance that we have that people are adoring us for? The truth is that you won't ever know for certain. You need to not care is a hard word, but you need to be detached from it. Let's take it to a different scenario. I was given great advice. If ever you say write a book or you post something on social media, the advice was don't read any of the comments. And the reason is because even if 99% of them are good and 1% are negative, we tend to really hold on to that negative, right?
Yes.
But for many people, take someone like Elon Musk. You could literally tell him that you hate him and he would not flinch. He just doesn't care. And it's not because he's not able to feel human emotion. It's just he understands that just as he doesn't care if you say that you hate him, he also doesn't care if you say that you love him. And so when you
True.
need the good comments in order to feel good, it's of course no surprise that the negative comments are going to make you feel bad. And so if you can stand on your own 2 feet, I truly believe the greatest superpower you can have is to be someone who is secure enough in who they are. And I'm going to feel that. I know there's a lot of people with self-talk going on in their head right now, including my own, which is, well, how do I fully love myself? I'm not perfect. I screw up all the time. I put my foot in the mouth. No, no, no. You're fully confident and love yourself for showing up each day and knowing you're doing your best. And that knowingness keeps you in this state of wanting to always learn, always evolve, to become more and more self-aware. There's no such thing as a perfect human out there. And so it's silly for us to expect that of ourselves. And if we want others to love us for our flaws, and we love other people for even though they have flaws, then love yourself knowing that you also have flaws, but love that you are aware and always trying to get better. So that is the superpower, because when you are secure in that, when someone says, you know what, that was really stupid what you did, you'll be like, I know, right? Like, oh gosh, but don't worry. I've taken note. I'm going to do differently next time. That is the superpower, because you now will be unaffected by others. And it takes practice. Like everything, it takes practice and knowingness, mindfulness. And so just starting to become aware of every time someone says something and you feel that flinch, maybe in your stomach, like it was a gut punch. Maybe you hear, that voice in the back of your mind going, yeah, I really am stupid. Oh my gosh, that person totally called me out. I'm so embarrassed. Like, if you can start to get aware of that, then start asking yourself, well, is what they said valid? Like, it doesn't mean that it has to be a personal attack, but if they said, hey, you really didn't show up well today. You've dropped the ball on this project at work. Go, yeah, I kind of, I probably could have done better. Okay, that's fair. Thank you. But you're not taking it as a personal attack. You're taking it as constructive criticism. And if you're not receiving constructive criticism, who cares, right? They're not being constructive. You can't do anything with that information. So yeah, that's really where it's at. You have to not care about the good stuff or not need the good stuff so that you also don't need or care about the bad stuff.
Miss Leah, what is the difference between someone giving you love and you being able to receive and believe it?
Oh gosh, so there's a lot of things. When someone says that they love you, what feeling do you have in the short term? And then what feeling do you have in the long term? For some people, when someone says, I love you, they go, I feel safe. I feel secure. That's great. But you may want to ask yourself, why do you feel that way from that statement? Do you not normally feel that way? Because that might be something that you want to work on. How can I make sure that I always feel safe and feel secure? So it's not necessarily to say, don't tell me that. It's to ask yourself, why did that feel so extra good? Because it's not that we don't want it to feel good. Again, we just don't want it to be needed. And then that's the short-term reaction. Sometimes people are like, "Oh, good, I feel so good." But then, the voices start chirping in going, "Oh, he says he loves me. She says she loves me. They really knew me. Oh, they know all the terrible things that I think of and do, and I screw up so much." So do you have a bit of that imposter syndrome? Sometimes you can't even accept the love because you don't believe you deserve it. And why? Because you don't love yourself. So how could anybody else possibly love you, right? Um, so those are two things that just come to mind on what is the feelings feel when somebody says that. And that might be an indicator of whether you actually can receive and hold love. If you also feel like you've had good relationships in the past, but something always seems to go wrong, that could be a form of self sabotage. It's that delayed reaction of going, oh, I love this. I feel so good in this. Wait a minute, I don't deserve it. I must throw it all away. I have to do something. I'm going to start being cranky around them and pushing them away and doing things that evoke, a negative interaction between us that ultimately dooms the relationship. That can be another indicator that you can't quite hold love because there's something about you that doesn't believe that you deserve healthy long-term relationships. And that could be because you haven't really experienced healthy long-term relationships.
Could this idea sometimes be used as a weapon to blame people for their relationship struggles or justify leaving someone in a vulnerable state?
Certainly. You know, when you don't love yourself and you really need constant validation from your partner, they need to always tell you how attractive you look, how smart you are, how much they need you or want you. Why that can be dangerous is for the reasons that we've kind of talked about. It means that you're a very vulnerable person who's not able to hold that within themselves, which means likewise, if that person just was busy today or distracted and they didn't give you that compliment that you needed, or maybe they glanced in the direction of somebody else and you're like, what was that about? And you're like, oh, I was just looking at their shoes. Oh, sure. What, you don't like my shoes? Like it can come out in ways where that need from them is just frankly not fair. Their life should not fully revolve around you. You should be wanting them to feel fulfillment as well. That's kind of where that co partnership is. But to your point of unhealthiness, when you are that insecure, you can be very vulnerable to prey, meaning people that want to take advantage of you because they know that you give and you give and you give because you need, and therefore they can easily play into that and take advantage of you in some way.
Have you ever witnessed a situation where profound unconditional love from another person actually become the catalyst for someone to begin learning to love themselves?
Yeah, it used to be that doctors would say, you are who you are, and that's how you were born. But then they discovered, somebody would get into a car accident or experience some sort of near death experience, and that trauma would all of a sudden change how that person operates. They would show up as a completely different human. They'd have a different outlook on life. They were making decisions quicker and differently based on different value systems. And we've now come to realize it doesn't necessarily have to be because of a trauma to kickstart us into a different direction. But certainly, a toxic relationship, an abusive relationship, even a relationship with yourself that has gotten so toxic that you get to a point of being sick and tired of being sick and tired, that becomes your, as they like to call it, rock bottom. That thing that makes you go, either I am kickstarting in a completely different direction because I have nothing to lose. I may as well make some radical decisions and just see what happens because clearly the decisions I'm making are not working. Or that's, the part where people kind of decide to take, stage left out. And it's everyone has their own idea of rock bottom. I mean, for some people, rock bottom is just, you know, um, they only have 10 grand left in their account and that's lower than they've ever had before. Whereas other people can be $10,000 in debt before they go, that's it, I got to start making changes. So everybody's rock bottom when it comes to relationships or loving themselves, um, being just tired of feeling the way that they feel on a day-to-day basis. Uh, it's different for all of us. But when you hit that moment, and you feel that urge that something needs to change, take it. Always take it. Because then life can be fun. Because I think that's the point where you stop caring. That's why the near death experience is often revolutionary for many people because they're like, wow, I just realized it could all be gone in a second. I guess I shouldn't care about all this little stuff anymore. Maybe I should actually just, let the wind go through my hair and make some crazy decisions because what's the worst that can happen?
Definitely. And many people confuse self love with selfishness or narcissism. What is the crucial distinction?
The distinction is your self love only positively impacts you and potentially even positively impacts people around you. But when your self love turns into narcissism, is when you feel some sort of entitlement or belief that the world should start operating to serve you in some way, that you are to be adored, that you are to be served, that you are to somehow be observed as a being that is better than others, more important than others. So I think that's really the distinction. You can live a life filled with self love, and nobody even really knows that you love yourself that much. But a narcissist, you always know that they love themselves because they let you know.
Definitely. And Miss Leah, how does self-love relate to self-acceptance? Is it possible to have one without the other?
That's a really great question. And I believe they kind of go hand in hand because when you love yourself, you are accepting yourself. And you're not, it's not having a fixed mindset of this is how I am and everybody's got to deal with it. This is just how I am and I'm going to deal with it and I'm not going to change. But I love myself. In fact, I love my flaws. That's not what that is. It's accepting that you have flaws, that you're always a work in progress, and that every day you're getting better and better in some way, that you're becoming more aware, that you're becoming more attuned to the people around you, to your goals and the actions that you take, the words that you say, and the impact they can have, not just on others, but yourself and getting what you want in life. So, yeah, I believe acceptance is absolutely something that is held within that self love concept.
Well, interesting and empowering answer, Miss Leah. And what will be your short-term and long-term goals?
So, when it comes to my charity, we are growing very quickly, impacting kids, and ultimately, my goal is to be. We're already coast to coast. I'm in Canada, so we are coast to coast across Canada, and just growing into more and more communities, helping more and more kids, with a goal of 500 communities by the end of 2027. So I'm really excited about that. And then personally, I am writing a book, so very appropriate for this podcast. It's called Grasping at Gratitude. And so it's all about that emotional journey to being able to control and manage your emotions. And yeah, it's starting to lean back into speaking again. I haven't done much speaking in a while. And so I'm excited to start leading with that.
Please do come over on Book One Review and let's talk about it. Miss Leah, you are most welcome. We're both patronizing less fortunate children all over the world. So let's combine together and let's promote our advocacy. And good luck to your goals and looking forward for more success. And what will be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be like you?
Remember that how you feel is always up to you. Even when you feel like it's not, it can be. In the same way that if you feel sad, you can put on a funny movie and laugh, you can do that without the movie. And if you have any goal in life outside of the things that you want to have the goal of being able to really be able to choose how you feel every day and every minute within every day.
And thank you for that advice. If you don't believe you are worthy of love, how can you possibly trust someone who says they love you? Doesn't their love just feel like a lie or pending mistake?
It's tough because when you are in a state of not being able to love yourself, having a good support system is always more helpful than going alone. But ultimately, we all are on a journey of our own experience. And so, being open to doing this alone, even if you have people around you all the time, is a really powerful declaration, a very powerful choice to make. And if you can start taking internal journeys, which, believe it or not, in this day and age is truly being able to sit with yourself in silence. You can do that through, you can call it meditation. There's a lot of mindfulness classes you can have, which is simply getting in tune with your inner self, what's happening inside, and learning how to have dialogue with that inner voice that you have dialogue with all the time, whether you like it or not. If you can have that internal journey and make space for that, every day. The more, the better. But even if it's just a few minutes, a few times a day, that can be very powerful on you starting to connect with yourself to release the reliance on the external people in your world. But to your question, when you are in a state of dependency on others, it can be very difficult to trust your intuition on whether you can trust that person, um, even if they have very good intentions. Authentically, they may be there for all the right reasons. I just can't say because it's obviously a scenario to scenario basis. But always the advice would be to go internal, start seeking out support, reading incredible books on mindfulness or meditation, and connecting with your inner being.
Let's propose a gentler version of our original statement. What if we said your ability to experience and trust the love of others is limited by our capacity to love yourself? Does that feel more accurate?
Could you say that one more time?
Definitely. Let's propose a gentler version of original statement. What
Mhm.
if we said your ability to experience and trust the love of others is limited by your capacity to love yourself? Does
A
that
gentler.
feel more accurate?
Yeah, that's definitely accurate. And if we wanted to go even a little bit more gentle in a way that might feel less of a downer, um, when you can love yourself, loving others feels even better, and you can get full fulfillment from loving others. Receiving the love becomes the bonus, it becomes the cherry on the cake. But when you love yourself and you're spilling over with love, you can pour it out onto people that before previously you may have not believed even deserved love. People that don't reciprocate it. It just doesn't matter. You've got so much you want to give it away. And that's that difference as well between narcissism and self-love is when you love yourself, it pours out and it positively impacts people because they feel loved and accepted no matter what, because you don't put conditions on yourself, you no longer put conditions on other people either.
Miss Leah, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season. Abstract Poetry in second season. I'm a book 101 review in fifth season too. Comedy 101 in second season. My food 101 in fifth season as well. Geography 101 in fourth season. And my baby podcast. Law 101, Mental Health 101, and Bible Verses 101. Love Letters in fourth season, as well as Movie 101, Reviewed Music 101, and Science 101, and Sex 101 in its second season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Leah, what is the greatest gift we give to our partners, parents, or friends that the world when we commit to the practice of loving ourselves?
It's to what I had just mentioned about the love spilling over. When you love yourself, you have enough to give authentically without needing anything in return and without any requirements of others. And that is so comforting for others when they feel like they're not constantly being judged or that they don't have to constantly be efforting to meet a certain requirement before they receive that love. It's almost disarming for people in all the right ways. Um, yeah. So loving yourself allows you to love others. Others become attracted to you because of just the authenticity of what you can give. That's it's so powerful. And plus, when people observe someone genuinely happy for no apparent reason, that's inspiring. And the whole idea of pay it forward, seeing someone happy can have an incredible effect around you of other people feeling like they can be happy for no reason. It's incredible how many people feel like they don't deserve to be happy until they meet some sort of artificial requirement that was built into their mind at some point in their life. Maybe they have to reach a certain level of success, a certain body or fitness level, health level, other achievements. And it's just not the case. Nobody put those requirements out there except us.
Miss Leah Coss, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. And we are looking forward for that book. Please do come over and let's promote to the world. So can you please invite our listeners to support your upcoming book, your advocacy, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Will do. Yeah, feel welcome to visit me on my website. Find me on LinkedIn, and you'll definitely stay in the loop.
Yes, people, let's support Miss Leah or Leah Coss because if you support her, for sure, more and more empowering advocacy to come. So, Miss Leah, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
More to come, people. See you soon.